And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So, however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. All right, today's a big Monday, folks. Sheesh, what a day in the NFL. The London game, gosh dang, man, oh man. Tua's first game back, he was looking good, but unfortunately, the media narrative, we already see him tweeting out during the game, all this, Tua's not good, Tua's not good, Tua's not good, this is all on Tua, this is all on Tua, and it's just like, okay, folks, let's all take a little bit of a step back. So, got to break down all the games from yesterday, obviously. Get that baseline to kind of start our rest of the week traditions. The Tuesday, breaking out all the great tight end performances, rearranging our power rankings, Wednesday's film study, getting us ready to talk about next week. Also, there's a Monday night game on today. Bills at Titans, Monday Night Football. Titans still plus 5.5 points. We'll update the line and check it again, but I think we're still sticking with the Titans with the points here and going toe-to-toe with the machines, because once again, the machines, they liked the Bills over the Chiefs last week. We didn't heed their advice, and the machines were right there. So, and the machines once again are taking the Bills over the Titans today, even covering the 5-point spread, which we don't agree with either. So right now it is 1 win for the machines, 0 wins for Takes by Fans. So we can't let the machines get 2-0 in front of us, because that's not going to be a good thing. We might have to resign the show for 2 weeks in a row. How crazy would that be? So we'll preview the Monday night game as well and make our pick, even though it's still one of our locks. We're still going to be riding with those points tonight. So let's just start the show and start breaking down every game from last night. And let's just start with the London game since it was the first game. Dolphins and Jaguars in London. And man, oh man, Tua's first game back after those the fractured ribs and all that. Looking real gosh dang good, folks. I don't want to hear nothing about Tua last night. And don't fall in the trap of the national media. I'm telling y'all, it is already beginning today. Everybody's putting the blame on Tua, and Tua deserves absolutely 1% of the blame, and that was just because of the interception. That was absolutely very, very bad, and I've got it queued up. Let's just talk about it, get it right out of the way. This interception was absolutely terrible. All the blame is on Tua right here. I'm not bailing out Tua. This was the worst play of the day by Tua, but that's it. He only had one bad play for the entire game. I think we can give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here because he truly made up for it on the following drive. So the interception comes off of the fumble, the Jacksonville fumble, when they were down in Dolphins territory looking to put up some more points. Defense comes up big, forces a fumble, and jumps on it and recover. And then the very next play is a Tua interception. And it's a bad play, but it was a flat-footed throw here. He didn't step into this. This was not a bad decision. Well, it was a bad decision to throw this ball flat-footed, but it wasn't like he was making a bad read or the throw as he, was in a clean pocket and truly stepped into the throw and put everything in that he had into the throw. It wasn't like that. It was just pure flat feet right here. And it's pure as day. I saw it live, but obviously nobody else saw it because we're going to talk about somebody kind of complaining about this in a second. But Tua drops back to pass, sees it open, and sees something open for a slight second, maybe gets taken away because right here he's in the stance to throw. He wants to throw the ball right now, but he hesitates. He pulls it back down, and then look at this, just once again flat-footed, trying to just put his entire arm strength into this throw, not stepping into it, and it comes up about 5 yards short, trying to hit another receiver over here off the screen. Trying to hit that throw over the linebacker before the safety, that kind of narrow throw that we always love and celebrate when it gets completed because it's truly a great, precise pinpoint throw. But Tua not stepping into this throw and just short arms it, and that's 100% on him. You can't throw flat-footed in this league. 9 times out of 10 you throw flat-footed, that's going to be a pick, and that's exactly what it was here. And then we had Chris Carter, a legend wide receiver Chris Carter out here, and he has to go out and tweet and once again part of the national media narrative right here that is all blaming Tua. Y'all want to blame Tua and then praise Sam Darnold. It's so bizarre to me, truly bizarre. So Chris Carter, after this kind of throw, he goes out and tweets this. That throw right there is the perfect example of Tua will struggle in the NFL because of a hashtag weak arm. This is why Tua's going to struggle in the NFL, because he hasn't been struggling so far. He's got a 7-5 record as the starter. This was another loss because of bad coaching, bad play calling, running the ball on 4th and 1. What are we talking about here? So here we go. Tie game 2020. Dolphins have the ball, 1:49 left in the game, and they're at their own 47-yard line, and it's 4th and 1, and you decide to run a play out of the shotgun on 4th and 1 instead of a QB sneak or just a handoff, under center. I mean, when you do a handoff 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, you're making a 4th and 1, a 4th and 6. I mean, you are actively putting yourself behind the 8th ball here in a do or die 4th down situation. And this is what they call not even Tua, who's been balling out this entire game. Oh, I forgot to mention, after that interception, you know what he did? He went on a 7-play, 88-yard touchdown drive to make up for that. So don't put that out there that Tua can't throw, and I can't wait till we get to Wednesday, folks, for our Wednesday film study, because you better gosh dang believe we're looking at every single one of Tua's throws, and we're going to be breaking them down, and then there's nowhere for y'all to hide. The Tua haters, not even haters, I don't even know what y'all are even thinking when you're watching this, man. I mean, he was picking up so many third downs, and his accuracy, folks, I think that gets lost in the shuffle. His accuracy, Tua, and I'm going to say this, folks, and clown me if you want, hang, I don't know if I can go that far, geez, yeah, I truly just lost my, train of thought. I was going to say, you can hang me on the cross, but I think that's going a little bit too far, and then I just lost my track of thought. But yeah, I'm going to say this. Y'all ready for this? Tua is more accurate of a passer than Lamar Jackson is. Pure accuracy-wise, folks, Tua is top 3 perfect ball placement, accurate quarterbacks in the league. Better than Lamar Jackson. I 100% believe that. 100% believe Tua is a better ball placer than Lamar Jackson overall in totality. Obviously, Lamar's better dual threat. I don't really like Tua running at all. I don't really count him as a dual threat quarterback. But pure precision passer, Tua's got it over Lamar Jackson. So I've said it. It's out there, and I'm ready to stick by it. So y'all can come at me if you want, but just absolute perfection right there, leading them down, and now they have a 20-17 lead, and that brings us to this play right here on 4th and 1. You don't even utilize Tua. I mean, they went for it on 4th. They went with it with Jacoby Brissett, or faked like they were going to go for it on 4th down earlier in the game with Jacoby Brissett, and they actually used Jacoby Brissett under center because they were, kind of faking the QB sneak. On 4th and 1, it should always be QB sneak. I don't care, QB sneak or fullback dive. Those are really the only 2 plays you should ever run on 4th down, and I'm really kind of more leaning towards the QB sneaks. Get down, get in there, and reach the ball over the 1 yard. That's all you have to do. And the genius play callers over here by Miami go for it on 4th and 1 from the shotgun and run the ball. Doesn't even let Tua run the ball here, since he's been kind of doing all the work here. And obviously they come up a little bit short, and the Jaguars win the game because of this garbage call right here. So absolute, it's just, I'm going to be frustrated all week, folks, because I'm seeing this in the media. And I'm not saying this because we are Dolphins fans over here. We're saying this because we literally analyze every single quarterback every single week. And what we're seeing out of Tua, it looks absolutely fantastic. And then we get on social media and see what all the professional media figures are saying. And it's just clown Tua after Tua after Tua when they're praising Sam Darnold. It's just like, what are we doing? What are y'all doing out there? Jeez. So Unfortunately, the Dolphins lose this game, and, I don't like the offensive coordinators here for the Dolphins. I don't like these defensive-minded head coaches here. I like Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator, but this man is not a head coach's decision-making, his hiring, because when defensive people get into head coaching positions, they think they're so great at calling defensive schemes that they can kind of try and get away with not using a lot of money in the defensive area because, they're the head coach. So they're like, all right, I can take control of the defense and I can, do whatever I want schematically defense. I can get garbage players and turn them into great defensive players. That's what all defensive-minded head coaches kind of think. So then they leave the big money spending to the offensive side, but then they hire just poor offensive talent because the defensive-minded head coaches don't really know offensive coordinator talent. So they just hire offensive people who don't know what they're doing, and then they have all this money to ruin the offense here. I mean, we've got no consistent playmakers right here on offense. Jaylen Waddle finally got going here because Devontae Parker was out. What do we got here? Jaylen Waddle, 10 catches for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns, finally coming into his own. I mean, why did it take 6 weeks for this offense to finally utilize Jaylen Waddle here? I mean, it's just so bizarre in this Dolphins offense. It's absolutely bad. It's trash. It's one of the worst offenses, not because of Tua. Tua's the only great thing about this offense. Maybe Mike Gesicki as well. Very, very solid tight end out here in the league. Shout out to Tight End University. But, man, oh, man, I hate this Tua narrative, and we're going to have to endure it all week long. But the best I could say to y'all is don't get caught up in it. It's all lies. It's all blasphemous nonsense, folks. I truly think nobody knows what they're talking about when it comes to Tua besides us. But we digress on that. Let's start talking about some stats here because we can get down stats-wise on Tua because it was a real great performance, and we set a bar for Tua this week at 64% completion percentage, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. We didn't want to see a pick. He did throw a pick, but, everything else, I mean, his completion percentage is 70%, folks, 33 of 47. That's 70%. So he had 6 extra percent completion percentage than our bar, and he also had about 70 more extra yards than our bar because he threw for 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, exactly what we wanted to see. Just that interception, truly unfortunate there. But it resulted into no points, and it actually resulted into 7 points for the Dolphins because, like we said, Tua makes up for that interception with a touchdown drive. So Tua was absolutely brilliant. I will say absolutely brilliant yesterday morning against the Jaguars in London, and we're going to be breaking him down on our film study to show y'all and prove it because this man was picking up third downs and being so accurate with the ball, folks. So freaking accurate. So I don't think we fire Brian Flores, but, you can't be a head coach. You just got to be a defensive coordinator. Same thing like Todd Bowles. He was not a head coach. He was a great defensive coordinator. He goes back to being a defensive coordinator for the Bucs, and he wins a Super Bowl. I mean, it's that simple. So I don't want Brian Flores as a head coach anymore. I would still like him to be on the roster as a defensive coordinator, but, I mean, you have to always have offensive-minded head coaches as the head coach, folks. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, look at all these defensive-minded head coaches out here floundering. And once again, don't come at me with the Bill Belichick. That makes no sense. He is the exception to the rule. Same thing like Tom Brady. He's the exception to all the quarterback rules out there. Same thing with Bill Belichick. So I don't need y'all coming in the comments being like, well, Bill Belichick, do you know about the Peyton? Folks, please. All right. So Tua was looking absolutely fantastic. Very awful job by the coaching staff here by the Dolphins of just completely beefing this game. And how about that field goal that randomly hooked? It was like 10 yards outside and that just magically hooks in bottom right. Just barely gets it over to tie the game. I don't know, maybe some wonky things going over there in London with some magnets and magnetism or something, because that did not seem right to the naked eye. But I guess we can't blame magnets for winning the Jaguars the game. All right, what else do we got here by the Dolphins? Malcolm Brown, who tried to run it on 4th down right here. This was the dude that they ran it on 4th down with, folks. 5 carries for 24 yards. He had 5 carries for 24 yards. Game on the line, 1 yard, and they go to that man. The man that had 24 yards and only 5 carries the entire game. 4 carries heading up to that moment. They went with that man and not Tua. So once again, the offensive coordinators are like actively not trying to have Tua be successful out here. People are trying to hold Tua back. For what reason? For what reason, folks? It's absolutely bizarre. I don't know if I'm the only one that's seeing it, that Tua is actually very, very good. And I would say top 10 quarterback. Top 10? Yeah, I can go top 10. I can go top 10 quarterback in this league. I've got no problem with that. So I just don't understand it, folks. It's like everybody's trying to make Tua not succeed in this league, and I don't get it. I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. Salvin Ahmed, running back for the Dolphins, 7 carries for 22 yards. Tua, 3 carries for 22 yards. Myles Gaskin, 5 carries for 9 yards. Once again, Myles Gaskin was the absolute reason the Dolphins were even maybe in that game last week against the Bucs, where they really got blown out, but in the first quarter, decently competitive. It was all Myles Gaskin. He would put up like 50 plus yards rushing, like 70 plus yards receiving, and then this week they go Myles Gaskin, 5 carries for 9 yards. Once again, I mean, these offensive play callers and offensive coordinators for the Dolphins, what are they doing out here? I mean, you see Myles Gaskin kind of ball out one week, and then the very next week you barely utilize them. It just makes no sense, especially with Devontae Parker out. So our number 1 wide receiver's out, and then you don't try to make up for that. It's just like every decision is going against Tua, and then the media is just jumping on that as well. All right, who was Tua throwing the ball to? We got Mike Gesicki. I mean, that man was balling out. Shout out to Tight End University. Like we said, leading receiver here for the Dolphins. 8 receptions for 115 yards and absolutely clutch when he needed to be in the second quarter, or in the second half, I should say. Jaylen Waddle, real solid performances as well. 10 receptions for 70 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. Mac Hollins, 4 receptions, 61 yards. Durham Smythe, another tight end, 5 receptions, 59 yards. Salvin Ahmed, 1 reception, 15-yard running back. Albert Wilson, 2 receptions for 14 yards. So Tua spreading the ball around, utilizing all of his weapons here that are left here, that are basically just tight ends and running backs. So Tua got it done. Unfortunately, the entire team let him down. The entire team, coaching staff, defense, some offensive players letting him down right there. Like we said, Malcolm Brown running it on 4th and 1, even though he barely ran it all game. Okay. All right, let's talk about the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence looking real solid in this game, like we know he does. I mean, this man's looking real good. Probably the best rookie quarterback of this class, just pure talent-wise so far out of the 6 games that we've seen. Super impressed with Trevor Lawrence, just sticking with it. Never gets down on himself, always in the game right here. It makes, 1 to 2 to 3 great throws that are just wow every single game. So got to give credit to Trevor Lawrence right there. Getting it done, 25 of 41 for 319 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. Shout out to that. Let's get this completion percentage up, 25 of 41. We get 60% completion percentage. Definitely could have been a little bit better, but 319 yards, slinging it around, and we love that, and that's what we love about Trevor Lawrence as well. It's not all dink and dunk by Trevor Lawrence. It's rarely dink and dunk. The man is confident in his abilities to go deep and hit those kind of 10-plus, 15-plus yard routes down the field decently, consistently. Going to LaVisca Chenault Jr., I believe, for the touchdown. Who did he have? Marvin Jones. Yeah, Marvin Jones. And that touchdown pass, geez Louise, absolutely fantastic. 28 yards, corner end zone. Absolutely brilliant throw there by Trevor Lawrence. I mean, this man is truly great. And, this man's going to have a great career depending on if Urban Meyer is good. They finally got their first win, and Urban Meyer didn't stay back in London with the teams or without the team. So that's kind of good, building on that. But then if you saw the locker room speech after, it was just like real. I hated it by Urban Meyer. It should have been just all like excitement and enthusiasm and passion and all that. Finally, celebrating with their team. But then it was just like real monotone and no excitement, making the players kneel and all that. I was just like, okay, I don't think that's how you should have. You specifically, Urban Meyer should have celebrated that with your team, given your history and all that. But whatever, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But, Trevor Lawrence, absolutely fantastic out there. Can continue to buy him. No worries there. James Robinson, leading rusher, very, very fantastic. The only rusher here for the Jaguars. 17 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. Give credit to that. Very, very well done. And then who was Trevor Lawrence throwing to all game? Marvin Jones, 7 receptions for 100 yards and a touchdown. Jamal Agnew, 5 receptions for 78 yards. Laviska Shenault Jr., 6 catches for 54 yards. And James Robinson, 3 receptions, 28 yards. Dan Arnold, 2 receptions, 27 yards. But this man is not good at all, folks. We don't like to disrespect any tight ends out here, but Dan Arnold, folks, once again, dropping open passes right here that would have gotten them the first down. And they kind of got fleeced because remember, this Dan Arnold acquisition came up about like 2 weeks ago in a trade, and the Panthers got rid of him. So a little bit of a fleece there by the Carolina Panthers to dump off a not great tight end to the Jaguars. But he had 2 catches for 27 yards, 5 targets. Luke Farrell, 1 catch for 21 yards. So overall, the Jaguars get it done. Shout out to the kicker, making huge kicks down the stretch right here. This field goal to tie it up at 20 apiece, the 54-yarder that hooked in, like we said, maybe some magnetism right there. And then the game winner, folks, 53 yards right down the middle, no question, easy peasy right there. So Jaguars get the win in London, 23-20, and now we have to hear about Tua being trash all week, folks. So gear up for that, and we're ready to prove everybody wrong on Wednesday. So come back to us on Wednesday to figure out why Tua is so gosh dang good, folks. All right, let's move on to the next matchup here, and now we got the Chiefs and Washington, and this was another bar we set. We had 3 bars this week. We just talked about the Dolphins to a bar, kind of exceeding it. Unfortunately, that interception. But then the bar that we sit on the Kansas City Chiefs this week was 0 turnovers. We did not want to see any turnovers, folks. 0 turnovers. We don't even care that they won the game because they did have, I think they had 3 turnovers this game. I don't care that they win. I don't care that they beat Washington. I don't care that they put up 31 points. We're still not going to put this team in our top 10 until they can prove that they cannot turn over the ball, because we see what happens when they do turn over the ball against good teams. They lose against the Ravens, against the Bills. I don't care that you beat Washington. Taylor Heinicke is kind of disappointing us a little bit. We were big buyers and big believers in Taylor Heinicke going even back to last season. We really kind of liked what we saw from him in the brief glimpses that we saw. And then in this offseason, when the quarterback competition was between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Taylor Heinicke, we were kind of, polling for Taylor Heinicke and kind of thought he got not a fair shake in the true quarterback competition that Ron Rivera said was kind of a true quarterback competition, when we really knew it really wasn't. As soon as Ryan Fitzpatrick got there, he basically won the starting job. So when Ryan Fitzpatrick went out, we were kind of excited. We got to see Taylor Heinicke, and this was supposed to be his kind of revenge. Hey, y'all didn't want to start me, but now here I am. I'm going to be your savior and take y'all to the promised land and kind of be competitive in this division. But now they're very, very struggling offensively. The defense is still struggling as well. And that was really why the only reason why Washington won the division last year, even though it wasn't that many wins, and was competitive in the majority of the games last season, was because of the defense. And now the defense is not even near where it was last year. And Taylor Heinicke is nowhere near, putting up 30-plus points a game on a consistent basis to win. So a little disappointed in Taylor Heinicke, but also still disappointed in this Chiefs team. So let's start with them. We get a close game going into halftime. I think Washington actually had the lead. They were up 13-10 at halftime, Washington was, and then just the offense could not do anything for the rest of the game. Where Patrick Mahomes, that's why, Patrick Mahomes can have turnovers and still win the game. We saw that one time this season where they turned the ball over once and still won the game. And that was against the Eagles. But then, it took a touchdown in every other possession to win that game against the Eagles while having that one turnover. So still a ton of turnovers right here. But then, the Chiefs getting it done in the second half. You always are in the game with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Doesn't matter how many times you turn over the ball, you will always still be in the game. But, winning the games, we see the turnovers coming back and biting them in the butt. And that's why we've sold the Chiefs 100% last week heading into this week. And once again, again, we set the bar. We wanted to see no turnovers, and once again, we have turnovers. 2 interceptions by Patrick Mahomes, a fumble by Patrick Mahomes that wasn't lost, and then a fumble that was lost by Mecole Hardman, their wide receiver. So let's see where these turnovers came. The first interception came on the second drive of the game here for the Chiefs, and it came down inside the red zone at Washington's 9. Not really on Patrick Mahomes' fault, just unfortunate. Tyreek Hill unfortunately could not hold on to the ball, and it kind of pops up because it hits him in the hands, and it's an interception. So once again, just unfortunate there. And we've seen these turnovers not 100% on Patrick Mahomes. All these interceptions, they're not 100% on Patrick Mahomes, but it's still just the overall, how do I put it? Not 100% focused, I guess I would say. Not 100% focused. I guess that's how we have to put it. That's why, if it's a wide open pitch and catch, that should never result into interceptions, but we're getting them. So, and it's getting down, these interceptions and turnovers are down in the red zone and all that. So it's truly, once again, red flags. And luckily for the Chiefs, the Washington football team did not take advantage of that first interception. They go 3 and out after that. So, a little bit of a bailout there by the Chiefs. And before we move off of this, once again, Tyreek Hill, we kind of, classify him as the best wide receiver in this league, kind of heading into the season. But all these kind of drops right here, I think we've got to kind of move them down to probably maybe number 2 or number 3. I think we have to probably put Devontae Adams at number 1. I mean, that man is truly showing out here over, obviously his entire career. But man, oh man, the man is truly showing out that last season and this season as well. So I think we are going to officially drop Tyreek Hill from our number 1 wide receiver spot because he fumbled this game, and I believe he also fumbled last week as well, kind of on the same scenario. So really disappointed in Tyreek Hill as well, unfortunately. All right, second turnover here, a fumble, which resulted into 7 points there for Washington. So cashing in on turnovers, fantastic. And then the other interception here came at the end of the half here. But once again, at their Washington's 20-yard line in the red zone, not coming away with points, and that's why they're down 3 at halftime. And then in the second half, no turnovers, touchdown, 3 straight touchdown drives. That's what we know the Chiefs can do. But when you mix turnovers, you're not going to win against the best teams with all these turnovers, especially in the playoffs. The only quarterback that can do that is Tom Brady. We just saw that last season, throwing, 3 interceptions in the championship game, throwing multiple interceptions throughout the other playoff games, and still coming away with wins. And we know that Patrick Mahomes is not Tom Brady. We all know this. Nobody's Tom Brady besides Tom Brady himself. So, that's why we are concerned about the Chiefs turnovers. We're not worried about the Chiefs turnovers in a game against Washington or a game against the Lions because they're unfortunately lackluster teams. And unfortunately for the Chiefs, they're not a lackluster team. Back-to-back Super Bowl participants, 1 win, 1 loss. And now this season, defending Super Bowl participants. We hold this team to a little bit of a higher standard. And obviously that makes sense. I mean, don't come at me saying you have to hold teams in different scenarios with different quarterbacks in different just kind of scenarios. That's why when we talk about quarterbacks, we all don't talk about quarterbacks like they're Tom Brady because there's only one Tom Brady. So yes, we hold Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes to higher standard of quarterback play over Ryan Tannehill and Baker Mayfield and kind of the second and third year quarterbacks like Sam Darnold and all of that. So yes, we talk about quarterbacks and teams differently dependent on their situation. I don't think that's wild to do. All right, what else do we got here? So all the turnovers here by the Chiefs, 3 turnovers. We set a bar at 0, so we will still not be buying the Chiefs here heading into next week. And I still think we may probably leave them out of the top 10 in our power rankings come on tomorrow's show. So still not buying this Chiefs team, but let's talk about some numbers here. Patrick Mahomes goes 32 of 47. Good? Is that good? What do we got? We got 68%. We'll take that all day. 397 yards. Absolutely fantastic. 2 touchdowns. Very, very good. But those 2 interceptions. So once again, it's just the turnovers here by the Chiefs that are truly holding us back of truly believing into this team 100%. All right, the running game, Darrell Williams, 21 carries for 62 yards, 2 touchdowns, nothing great, 3 yards a carry, kind of average-ish. Patrick Mahomes, 3 rushes for 31 yards. Jerick McKinnon, 3 carries for 10 yards. And who was Patrick Mahomes throwing to? We had Travis Kelce, number leading receiver here, classic here. 8 receptions for 99 yards. Tyreek Hill, 9 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown, responsible for that interception as well. Mecole Hardman, 4 receptions, 62 yards. Brian Pringle, 3 receptions, 55 yards. Demarcus Robinson, 3 receptions, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. Darrell Williams, 3 receptions, 27 yards. And Jody Forston, 1 reception for 27 yards. So going to his main playmakers, we had Tyreek Hill, 12 targets, Travis Kelce, 11 targets, and then the third highest targeted receiver was Demarcus Robinson at 6 targets. So, Patrick Mahomes knows where his bread is buttered. For an entire game, 90% of the game, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill are all going to play flawlessly, but that 10%, that other 10% where it's turnover filled, that's where we get the losses, and that's why we are concerned with this Chiefs team. All right, let's talk about Washington now. Truly unfortunate play here by Taylor Heinicke for another week. This man has to get it figured out here if he wants to kind of still be competing for a starting role at the quarterback position coming up for years ahead. Because if I'm Ron Rivera, what is keeping me tied to Taylor Heinicke, in this offseason? Why not draft a quarterback, which will probably be the route? So Taylor Heinicke not doing himself any favors here, and he'll probably still be on Washington roster come next season, but he's going to be in a true quarterback competition, and we saw him handle this year's quarterback competition with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and obviously we all know how that ended. He did not win that one. So this was kind of a free year for Taylor Heinicke to really kind of put himself into a true starting level quarterback caliber player. He's not even close to this yet, so truly unfortunate by Taylor Heinicke, but he goes 24 of 39. 24 of 39, 61% completion percentage. We don't like that. 182 yards on 24 completions. That's stinking dunk. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Nothing great there on the touchdown to interception ratio. And the interception that he threw came in the fourth quarter when the game was already over. They were down 31-13. So the interception we can kind of erase. 2 minutes, 3 minutes left in the game, you're down double digits. That's a loss guaranteed. So just trying to do something a little bit too little too late here for Taylor Heinicke. So definitely got to get that cleaned up. The running game here by Washington, not terrible, real solid here. They had 18 rushes, 39 passes. I mean, it's not bad. Maybe, tone down the throwing attempts by Taylor Heinicke, but you get down big in the second half, you got to start throwing the ball a little bit more. So I think this is a kind of very, very good game play calling wise for Washington. It's just Taylor Heinicke needs to step up big time. But the leading rushers, J.D. McKissic, 8 carries for 45 yards, Antonio Gibson, 10 carries for 44 yards. So running back by committee, getting it done, basically at 100 yards rushing. So like we like to see. So I mean, solid rushing game here. Taylor Heinicke starting to fall on you a little bit. And let's see who he was throwing to. We had J.D. McKissic, the leading receiver here, the running back. So once again, dink and dunk game. 8 receptions for J.D. McKissic, 65 yards, and he was the most targeted receiver as well. Ricky Seals-Jones, a very, very great tight end right here. 4 receptions, 58 yards. He had a touchdown. De'Ami Brown, 3 receptions, 30 yards. And then we get Terry McLaurin. I mean, why is Terry McLaurin the 4th leading receiver here? That should never be the case. Come on, Taylor Heinicke, start feeding the ball to your main personnel, your main weapons. I mean, this Chiefs offense struggled the entire game and put up 3 turnovers in the first half and still made Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill their leading receivers here because Patrick Mahomes knows that those two are his best weapons. Come on, Taylor Heinicke, start figuring that out as well. Terry McLaurin, 4 receptions for only 28 yards. That's not going to get it done. So Washington, another lackluster performance here offensively, defensively in the second half. But, it's only a matter of time when you play the Chiefs. So Chiefs get the win 31-13, and we are still not buying the Chiefs, folks. Alrighty, next game up here is the Rams and the Giants in an absolute blowout right here. Kind of like we said, this Giants offense, it just started to get going a little bit last week, but then it lost all of its great talent here. And just once again, there's just nothing great about this Giants team. Joe Judge just not getting it done as a head coach. Jason Garrett just not getting it done as an offensive coordinator. So, this Dolphins offense and this Giants offense, they have the pieces, and I think they have the quarterback. I just think the coaching staff is holding the teams back overall. So Dolphins, Giants, I think there needs to be sweeping changes in the coaching staff to try and get because these are great rosters on paper, great talents over the field, and just not getting it done like they really should be. And it's truly unfortunate here, holding players back. So the Rams absolutely blow out the Giants from start to finish. The Rams did get out to a little bit of a slow start here in the first quarter. Giants up 3-0 for basically in the entire first quarter right here. Rams, stalling on some drives, but then when they picked it up, it was basically game over at that point. 28-3 in the, going into halftime. 4 touchdowns for the Rams in the second quarter. Geez Louise. And that's just the Giants have no offensive firepower to keep up with that, and then the game's basically over at halftime. And then there's, stuff coming out, articles coming out about Joe Judge. He was kind of, challenging his players at halftime, seeing who was going to quit, who wasn't going to give up and all that. So I just don't think that's kind of the head coaching kind of overall scheme that you need. That's not what the head coaching position really should be doing there. But in special teams coordinator Joe Judge, defensive-minded head coach Brian Flores, you've got to get the offensive-minded coaches, folks, as the head coaches. I really think that's the only logical thing after we've seen, defensive-minded head coaches struggle, and really never winning any meaningful games or Super Bowls like that. So I think the Giants are in the same boat that the Dolphins are, need a little bit of sweeping changes at the offensive coordinator position and the head coaching position. All right, but the Rams, Matthew Stafford, pretty solid game right here. 22 of 28 for 251 yards. So 78% completion percentage, 258 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had an interception, but the interception came on the last play of the first half, just trying to take a little bit of a shot there to Cooper Kupp. So not even an interception on Matthew Stafford. Rushing attack, Darrell Henderson, very, very solid right here, and running back by committee with Sony Michel. The Rams truly a little bit of, chaos in the kind of right before the start of the season with Cam Akers going down, but they handled it absolutely perfectly. Darrell Henderson is stepping up into that number one role, 21 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown, and then signing Sony Michel a couple weeks into the season, 9 carries for 42 yards, so absolutely fantastic rushing game with an absolutely fantastic passing game. Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford connection is back on track here. Cooper Kupp, 9 receptions for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tyler Higbee, 5 catches, 36 yards. Robert Woods, 2 catches, 31 yards and a touchdown. Darrell Henderson, 2 catches, 29 yards and a touchdown. Von Jefferson, 3 receptions and 19 yards. So once again, it's just Matthew Stafford ignoring everybody else that's not Cooper Kupp. So we would like to see this Rams offense kind of develop Robert Woods a little bit more. We saw them focus on Robert Woods last week, and it kind of led them to the team. So that was great that Matthew Stafford recognized, hey, me and Cooper Kupp's connection struggling a little bit. This was last week against Seattle. And then in the second half, kind of going to Robert Woods a little bit more and kind of securing them the win. So would like them to kind of, be a full complement team, every single game, but, they're winning their way, and we'll see how long that can keep up, and we'll see how long Cooper Kupp can kind of do this thing where he's putting up like multiple touchdowns basically every single game, putting up 100+ yards receiving every single game. We'll see how they're able to keep that up here. So great overall performance by the Rams. A big beatdown by this Rams team defensively. Offensively, held the Giants to only 11 points. And let's read what these Giants offensive numbers were looking like yesterday. So Daniel Jones threw the ball 51 times. Jeez Louise, coming off of a concussion. Gosh dang. And like I said, they did get down big, bad, decently early. All the points came from the second quarter here from the Rams. But, the Giants, decent in control in the first half, or in the first quarter. And then after the first quarter, they just really could not move the ball. These are all their drives after the first quarter, where they put up 3 points. They fumbled. 3 plays, -8 yards, a fumble drive. Then they go 3 and out, and then they have an interception. And then they go 5 plays, 15 yards, and then they have another interception. That's all in the second quarter. Then after halftime in the third quarter, they only had 1 possession, and it resulted in an interception. Then in the fourth quarter, we get a 3 and out. Then we finally get a touchdown, but it was 38-3 at that point. With how much time left? 10 minutes left. Game's over at that point. So could absolutely do nothing the entire game moving the ball. How unfortunate. But Daniel Jones goes 29 of 51, folks. 56% completion percentage. Not good at all. 242 yards on 29 completions. Dink and dunk. 0 touchdowns. 3 interceptions. Sheesh. Absolutely awful there. And who fumbled? Daniel Jones fumbled 1. So 4 turnovers by Daniel Jones coming off of a concussion game. Probably should have relied a little bit more in the running game. I understand there was no Saquon Barkley, but I mean, you've got to figure it out. That's the offensive coordinator's job, scheming it up, next man up, coaching up the tier 3, tier 2 players to their next tier level right there. That all falls on Jason Garrett, and we see them coming out absolutely floundering here. All right, in the rushing attack, Devontae Booker takes over for Saquon Barkley, 12 carries for 41 yards, nothing special. Who was Daniel Jones throwing the ball to? We get Sterling Shepard, leading receiver, 10 receptions for 76 yards. Dante Pettis, 5 receptions, 48 yards. Kadarius Toney, 3 receptions, 36 yards, and he went down in the first quarter, folks. I mean, nothing good in the passing game all game long. And truly unfortunate with Kadarius Toney. So missing Kenny Galladay and missing Saquon Barkley and now Kadarius Toney. We understand, now Jason Garrett has an excuse for kind of floundering offensively for this Giants team, but that didn't go for the first 5 weeks of the season where we saw nothing as well. So once again, gotta move off of Jason Garrett. I mean, this is it. We've gave him his chance. We gave him all last year. We're giving him the first 5 games of this season, and it was nothing great. I mean, you just got to move off of him. It's unfortunate. Devontae Booker, 4 receptions, 28 yards. Evan Ingram, 3 receptions, 24 yards. Colin Johnson, 3 receptions, 21 yards. But in overall, a blowout game. Rams doing what the Rams do and put up 38 points, holding the other team to 11 points and getting that big blowout win. So the Rams still good in our eyes. Everything is still kind of good. The connection between, Matthew Stafford, I would like to see him, develop some other receivers besides, just harping on Cooper Kupp. But, we'll see if that kind of changes as the season progresses, as he kind of gets his footing a little bit in this new team, in this new scheme. But Rams get the win 38-11. Alrighty, next game up here is the Texans at the Colts, and man, Davis Mills, man, what is up with that? We were believers in Davis Mills. We were kind of gushing over him a little bit on what he did against the Patriots, and then this game against the Colts, just true flounder job. And this Colts team, yes, it overall was a big blowout in the final score, but still the Colts, I mean, they benefited off of like 2 or 3 or 4 like big plays, and other than that, they weren't really moving the ball well. This was still a game where the Texans really could have won if their defense didn't get exposed for some big plays. So let's talk about these big plays overall. So the first touchdown drive, we get a 51-yard touchdown pass over the top. That goes for 7 points because of a big 51-yard play. Then they have to settle for a field goal. Was this set up by a big play? A 52-yard pass play that gets kind of shut down in the red zone and only results into a field goal. So, 10 points are because of 2 big 50-yard bombs. If the Texans defense, held together, this would have been a competitive game kind of throughout. But, we also needed Davis Mills in the offense to do something. And like we said, they only put up 3 points all game. Really could do nothing. But the defense here, man, got exposed a little bit here. So we're not not buying this Colts team because of this big blowout win over the Texans, still came on some shot plays that's really set up all the points because they were only up 10-0 at halftime. We get, punting drives here in the first half because they didn't have those big 50-yard bomb drive starters and all of that. And then it even continues in the second half as well. After a Davis Mills interception, they're able to put up 7 more points because they only have to go 28 yards. So once again, big shot plays and Davis Mills turnovers resulting into all these points by the Colts, and not kind of consistent 80, 75-yard drives that are kind of going, 20 yards, 5 yards here, 7 yards here, another kind of big 11, 12 play, like 11, 10-yard gained play, anything like that, coming on short fields from the 28-yard line in big 58-yard bombs. And then this touchdown drive here, 83-yard run that sets up the touchdown. And then in the fourth quarter, they go 3-and-out, and then they get one more touchdown for good luck. And this one was kind of a consistent drive, but that came in the fourth quarter at kind of basically their last drive of the game, finally going the length of the field, 63 yards, without kind of a big shot play. So we're still not 100% sold on this Colts team. Let's start here with the Colts numbers. I mean, Carson Wentz, folks, this is a stat line from this game. Are y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for just these Colts stats? Because they don't match up at all, really, with the 31 score. But here we go. Carson Wentz goes 11 of 20, folks. 11 of 20. 55% completion percentage because of all those big shot plays. If the Texans defense didn't give up all those big plays, maybe the Colts have to settle for field goals on most of these drives. And if Davis Mills was just a little good, that's all we were asking from Davis Mills, a little good of what we saw from last week, which made us believers, but he couldn't even do that. So, our thinking of Texans plus 10, I'm still standing by the thinking. Obviously, it doesn't pan out. We don't hit our bet. Truly unfortunate, but our thinking was still basically right there, folks. Unfortunately, Davis Mills lets us down, but Carson Wentz 11 of 20 for 233 yards, 2 touchdowns, didn't turn over the ball. Very well done there. And then Jonathan Taylor, 14 carries for 145 yards. But let's go back to Carson Wentz's stats real quick. I mean, we just told you he had 2 passes that went for basically 100 yards. So overall, Carson Wentz went 9 of 18 for 123 yards. 9 of 18 for 123 yards, folks. I mean, is that going to win a football game consistently in this league against good teams? Of course not. Of course not. So, not sold on this Colts team. Let's not get ahead of ourselves on this Colts team. I would love to buy this Colts team. I would love to see Carson Wentz kind of, being 100% healthy and good and all of that. And I would love to see T.Y. Hilton and Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines get the ring. Absolutely, we would love that. But, what we're seeing is not great Super Bowl winning football as of yet. Still a little early in the season. Maybe we could buy the Colts a little bit later, but this is not the time to get big on the Colts, folks. And then Jonathan Taylor, 14 carries for 145 yards, 2 touchdowns. Once again, he had an 83-yard run there. So 13 carries for about 60, 70 yards, which is still pretty good. Jonathan Taylor, I like Jonathan Taylor. He's very, very solid. I like Jonathan Taylor over Carson Wentz. Big run there. Fantastic. But, overall, big plays, 3 big plays really kind of won the Colts this game in this big blowout fashion. If they don't have those 3 big plays, they still win the game, most likely, obviously, because the Texans offense still couldn't do anything all game. But, they probably win like 21-3. Still a little bit of a good blowout, but not 31-3, maybe even 17-3, something along those lines. All right. Who was Carson Wentz throwing to? T.Y. Hilton back in action. 4 targets, 4 receptions for 80 yards. Absolutely fantastic. He was one of the recipients for these 51-yard passes, I believe. 52-yard bomb to T.Y. Hilton to set him up for only a field goal. Womp womp. But yeah, well done by T.Y. Hilton, not missing a beat. Paris Campbell, 1 catch, 51 yards, a touchdown. Michael Pittman really kind of falling into the background. I mean, this was the game, folks. This was the game where we were supposed to see T.Y. Hilton get 100 yards, Michael Pittman get 100 yards, and multiple touchdowns, and Carson Wentz looking real good. We did not get that this game, folks. Be a little wary of the Colts overall heading into next week. Don't fall in for any sucker or trap bets that Vegas is going to put based on this only final score line. Don't fall don't fall victim to that trap. So once again, disappointment at Michael Pittman Jr., 2 receptions for only 35 yards. Why did he only have 3 targets? Come on. And then Mo Alley-Cox, 1 reception, 28 yards, and a touchdown. So overall, I mean, the Colts didn't even have to run that many offensive plays. Kind of crazy to put up 31 points. All right, now let's talk about this Texans team. Now, Davis Mills letting us down big time. We were believers, but that believability just went out the window here. Non-consistency, that's nothing we like here. We need to see the consistency. And, Davis Mills is still a rookie, so we're not doing true hard knocks here. We're not knocking him too hard out here, but still, when you go up high and then you come back crashing down low, that's nothing that we can buy yet as of yet. But Davis Mills goes 29 of 43. 29 of 43, 67% completion percentage. It was good there, but 243 yards on 29 completions. A little bit of dink and dunk there. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And let's see where these interceptions came. Didn't throw an interception in the first half, and the game was close, 10-3. Still wasn't able to really move the ball that well, but, you weren't turning over the ball, and your defense only gave up 2 big shot plays, and you were still decently in the game. This was, a time in halftime where you've fix everything up, clean everything up, and then come out, and because the Colts left the door open, you take advantage and win the game. But Davis Mills is like, no, I'm going to close the door for them, because the first drive out of halftime, the Colts go 3 and out. The Texans have a chance to tie up the game. A touchdown ties up the game, but Davis Mills throws an interception, and then, like we said, the Colts take over at the 28-yard line, and then the Texans go 6 and out, and then a turnover on downs. Unfortunately, could not score any points here. They went 4th and 8 at the Colts 22. Couldn't pick anything up. They were down 34-3 at this time, so you have to go for the touchdown in that scenario. And then we get a fumble. Who fumbled? Was this Davis Mills? No, it was David Johnson. Come on, David Johnson fumbling in the fourth quarter. Game's already over at this point. Another interception. Game's already over at this point, 31-3. But, man, oh, man, you had a chance to get it done after halftime, right out of halftime, but Davis Mills throws a pick. So, unfortunate timing there. Unfortunate stats overall for Davis Mills. In the rushing attack, Mark Ingram, 18 carries for 73 yards. That's real solid work, by the veteran. Phillip Lindsay, 7 carries for 39 yards. Fantastic there. Got to get this man involved a little bit more. And then David Johnson, 2 carries for 7 yards. And then, like we said, had that fumble as well. All right, and then who was Davis Mills throwing to? Brandon Cooks, the leading receiver here, and we love that. Brandon Cooks is definitely their best target, their best weapon to go to, so we give Davis Mills some credit for this. 9 receptions for 89 yards for Brandon Cooks. Nico Collins, 4 receptions, 44 yards. Jordan Akins, 4 receptions, 41 yards. And then Phillip Lindsay, 2 receptions, 15 yards. David Johnson, 1 reception, 14 yards. Chris Moore, 4 receptions, 14 yards. Chris Connolly, 1 reception for 10 yards. So overall, going to Brandon Cooks, but could not put up any points. So the Colts get the big blowout win. Don't kind of just fall in love with the final box score. See how it was scored and how they were looking for the entire game. And this Colts team is just not there at kind of Super Bowl contenders or even really deep playoff contenders just quite yet. But they get the 31-3 win. It's a great win. It's a win nonetheless. It's a home win nonetheless. It's a win with T.Y. Hilton back. First game back win, so all that's great. We'll see if they can build upon that, but we need the offense to be more consistent and better just for the entire game. Alrighty, next game up here is the Bengals at the Lions, and the Bengals get a nice big O win, and this was our bonus pick, folks. Bengals minus 3.5, and they have no trouble covering that, winning by 23 points out here. Big O win for this Bengals team. Joe Burrow continuing to do what Joe Burrow does. Jamar Chase continuing what Jamar Chase does, and the Lions continuing on what the Lions do. And remember, y'all were, falling in love with Dan Campbell, crying at the press conference last week. Not us. We were more we were more concerned with the energy between Kirk Cousins and head coach Mike Zimmer, and we liked that emotion better than the crying emotion that Dan Campbell. I mean, wasn't there no crying in football? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Yeah, you can cry if you get injured and all that, and yeah, you can cry if you lose the Super Bowl, but you lose because your team starts 0-5 off of a last-second field goal win. That's what makes you cry. And obviously your team doesn't respond because they only put up 11 points. So once again, kind of the Dan Campbell kind of type of coaches out here are not the great head coaches. So once again, we have to go with strictly offensive-minded, scoring-minded head coaches out here. That's the only kind of coaches that win decently, consistently. Defensive-minded head coaches, Dan Campbell, just kind of energy-driven head coaches, they don't work. Joe Judge, special teams coordinator, kind of the same energy you need to bring with a Dan Campbell. Special teams, these aren't your best players. These are, players that, are kind of still fighting for spots on the team. That's how you work your way up in, football, starting on special teams. You've got a lot more players to work with, all that, and it's just energy on special teams, giving the effort. Obviously skill is a little needed to tackle and to get down the field, but it takes discipline and it takes energy and buyability into the scheme, into the team, and that's where, the Dan Campbells, the Robert Salehs, the Joe Judges, come in good, but they don't make great head coaches. Nobody's buying into his tiers out here. 11 points at home, a blowout loss. Nobody's responding to those tiers. Alrighty, but let's start here with this Bengals team. Joe Burrow getting it done. Look at this, touchdown on the first drive. And he throws an interception, unfortunately. But, starting out good, starting out 7-0, putting the pressure on the Lions, who have they ever gotten out to a good start? I mean, they put up all 11 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, we've given Dan Campbell the credit for, sticking around games. But at some point, you need to start winning the games and being competitive from first whistle to last whistle. And that's why we've truly sold the Lions from last week when we saw the man crying at the podium. That did not impress us at all. And like we said, it's not even resulting into motivation, so it's not working. So Dan Campbell, please switch up your technique, but it doesn't seem like Dan Campbell's the guy that's going to be switching up his coaching style anytime soon, because this guy is the same guy that was the Dolphins interim head coach after Joe Philbin. He's still doing the same thing, and he didn't win for the Dolphins either, so he's not going to change his ways. All right, Joe Burrow goes 19 of 29. 65% completion percentage, right on the borderline of pretty solid right there, so we'll take it. 271 yards, fantastic. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. And like we said, the interception came on the first drive, or the second drive of the first quarter, and it resulted into an interception by Jared Goff, so, kind of bailed out there. And then just in the second half, really just shutting the door. Like we said, they did leave the door open. A lot of punting in the first half here by the Bengals, but they get a field goal right before halftime. Fantastic 2-minute drive there. And then out of halftime, touchdown drive, field goal drive, touchdown drive, touchdown drive. And that was all their drives in the second half, folks, putting up points on every single drive right there, closing out the door because the Lions weren't competitive all game. So well done for the Bengals of sticking with it. We've also had to see this Bengals team. Now this next thing that this Bengals team really has to start doing before we truly consider them as playoff contenders out here. They're a very, very good team. I'm not knocking this Bengals team, but we've seen them kind of get off to lackluster starts, and that even went back to last week against Green Bay. We really saw them kind of get down a little decently big, and then they kind of dug themselves out of their hole and kind of got it done decently in the second half. Unfortunately, still lost by 3. We all know how that went down, but we need to see this Bengals team from start to finish, first quarter, fourth quarter, putting up the touchdowns and moving the ball consistently, and that's going to be the next thing, consistency with this Bengals team throughout the entire game. But I think they're right on the cusp, and we're ready to kind of start buying into this Bengals team because we believe they can do this. We believe this team has the capabilities of doing this, where on some of these other teams, like the Giants, like this Lions team, obviously is nowhere near doing that consistently. So inches away. I'll put it at 92% buyability in this Bengals team. They start scoring consistently in the first half. We're at 100%. So good game by Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon, gotta give this dude credit. Running back here for this Bengals team, gotta start. It's just hard to give running backs credit because after, when you watch Derrick Henry, it's crazy. It's so much different than literally every single other running back in this league. Just watching that Derrick Henry in game on film, his running style is just so much more dominant than all the other running backs. So it's hard to kind of, praise be some kind of, third best running back in the league, fourth best running back in the league, but got to start giving a lot of credit to Joe Mixon out here, and we're going to be trying to do our best here to give this man all the credit he deserves, because 18 carries for 94 yards, fantastic. Joe Burrow took off 5 times for 20 yards as well. And then the leading receivers here for this Bengals team, Ja'Marr Chase, 4 receptions for 97 yards, doing what he does. No touchdown this game, unfortunately, but how great is that? The Bengals finding other ways to score touchdowns without kind of going to Ja'Marr Chase. So finding other ways to score the ball, finding other ways to win the games, that's what we love. That's what makes a full, complete team, folks. Once again, why we're at 92% viability with this Bengals team. Fantastic. Joe Mixon also getting it done in the dual threat game. Another reason why we buy this Bengals team 92%, and I'm going to buy him up another percent. Let's level it up to 93% out here, folks. Oh my God, I'm juiced up talking about this Bengals team now. Woo, love it. Joe Mixon, second leading receiver, 5 receptions, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Yes, sir. Joe Mixon. Do I dare call him the second best running back in this league? Can we elevate this man to running back number 2 in the league? I think we are. Obviously, like we said, we can't. Derrick Henry is number 1 forever until he's retiring or until something catastrophic happens that I got to knock on wood a million times to kind of cancel out on, because I don't even want that thought out there. But Joe Mixon, huge, ginormous credit to this man. Keep getting it done. Keep getting it done. Keep getting it done. Love it. All right, then we have Chris Evans, third leading receiver here for the Bengals, 3 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 3 receptions, 44 yards, and then C.J. Uzomah, 3 receptions, 15 yards, and he's getting into the scoring as well. Love that as well. Tight end university, once again, represent. So Bengals, 34 points, taking care of business on the road over the Lions like they should. All right, now this Lions team. Ooh, boy, Jared Goff, another trash performance. Not good, not consistent, not complete. Turnovers, not getting it done in the red zone. Classic Lions. And we're going to hear from Dan Campbell in a second, folks. And Dan Campbell's going from putting the blame on, feeling sorry for the team and all that to I'm going to start calling bitches out here real quick. He flipped it in a week turnaround. But here we go. Jared Goff goes 28 of 42, folks. 66% completion percentage, which is good, but 202 yards on a 28 completions. That's stinking dunk. No touchdown, interception. The interception came off of the Joe Burrow interception. So this was the perfect time to get back in the game. You are at Cincinnati's 38-yard line, down 7-0. You can't put the ball in the end zone to tie up the game 7-7, and now we have a complete competitive game. Who knows if the Bengals would have responded like they did to win the game in the second half. Maybe they could have squeaked out their first win here in Detroit, but no, Jared Goff wants to be trash. Once again, seeming like Sean McVay is the genius guru offensively that we all know he is, and that Jared Goff was truly holding Sean McVay back. How crazy is that? Quarterback holding the coach back. Well, that's Jared Goff. All right, running back wise, DeAndre Swift, 13 carries for 24 yards, a touchdown? What? Come on, DeAndre Swift, you're way better than that. Jamal Williams, way better than that as well. 4 carries for 11 yards, nothing good in the running game, and then they just keep letting Jared Goff pass the ball 42 times. I don't get it. I don't get that. All right, who was Jared Goff throwing to all these 42 times? Let's see. TJ Hawkinson, the tight end out here, very well done. 8 receptions for 74 yards. DeAndre Swift, 5 receptions for 43 yards. So there it is right there. There's your dink and dunk. Your 2 top receiving pass catchers are your tight end and your running back. Very well done, Jared Goff out there, right? Khalif Raymond, 6 receptions, 37 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 5 receptions, 26 yards. And then Tom Kennedy, 1 reception, 15 yards. But just absolutely atrocious offense here by this Lions team overall. And Dan Campbell, like we said, he's going from tears to placing the blame real quick. The time for tears are over. Obviously, nobody responded to that. So now he's going to start calling everybody out, because he just says this here. Following the Lions' latest loss, head coach Dan Campbell said of Jared Goff, said, quote, "I feel like he needs to step it up more than he has." And absolutely, I mean, not getting it done in the red zone over the Bears last week multiple times, floundering floundering multiple times, not getting it done, not coming away with any points. And then this week, not taking care of the ball off of that Joe Burrow interception, dinking and dunking, not scoring any points, not being consistent, having your first points come in the fourth quarter. That's never going to win a game, a meaningful game. Games consistently, folks. That's not good football. That is not good offense here. And Dan Campbell's getting a little sick and tired of it. So let's get the exact quote here. Is that all he says? That's all he says right here. I feel like he needs to step up more than he has. And then he also says this real quick. I don't put all of this on Jared Goff. So Dan Campbell, no tears this week. Just starting to point some blame. And we'll see how Jared Goff responds to that. I don't think he's going to, but we'll see. So Lions blown out again. 34-11. Classic Lions. Classic Dan Campbell head coaching archetype coach team. No? Alrighty, next game up here. Good close game. Packers at Bears, and we all know the Aaron Rodgers. I still own y'all, and hey, that is true. He's like 22-5 over the Bears for his career. So yeah, I've got no problem with Aaron Rodgers screaming to the crowd, I still own y'all. So y'all, why y'all cheering? Why y'all even showing up to this game? You know it's gonna be a slaughter. So Aaron Rodgers, for that, I like it. I like the man. I like that. I'm all about the playful disrespect, and that's respect. I disrespect you respectfully. All of that. Just good, fun competition, competitive spirit, all that. So I've got no problem with Aaron Rodgers screaming into the crowd, I still own y'all. Fantastic. All right, let's start here with the Packers. Good overall, good defensive game. Nothing great here quarterback wise. No big explosive plays. No real big explosive offense. I mean, both of these quarterbacks threw under 200 yards, no 100-yard rusher, anything like that. So both defenses really getting involved here, but it's Aaron Rodgers, folks, getting it done when he needs to, where, Justin Fields just couldn't quite go toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers quite yet in this early stage of his career. But here we go. Aaron Rodgers goes 17 of 23. Once again, very, very solid right here. A 73% completion percentage. Fantastic. 195 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Getting it done. Rushing game, Aaron Jones, 13 carries for 76 yards. A.J. Dillon, 11 carries for 59 yards. And even Aaron Rodgers took off 7 times for 19 yards and a touchdown. Running it in the red zone. Finally, Aaron taking it off and running with it. That's truly what Aaron Rodgers was missing from his game, folks. And if Aaron Rodgers had this decent dual threat ability of just tucking and running in the red zone, I want to say this man has like less than 10. I would put the number at 10. So I'll try and dig for this number. It's going to take a little bit of digging, but I would say Aaron Rodgers has less than 10 red zone rushing touchdowns in his entire career, folks. If he added this extra element to his game, he would be a multiple Super Bowl winner, folks, honestly. So I'm glad that he's finally starting to click. Hey, I can take it down. Maybe they can start scheming this a little bit in the kind of offensive play calling with Matt LaFleur. Maybe. I hope so. I mean, that was really why they lost last season, in the playoffs and all that, was because, he wasn't really tucking it and running with it and just kind of competing, diving toward the pylon, diving for the front end zone, laying a shoulder and getting it. If he added that to his game, he would have more than one Super Bowl, and he would definitely have more than one Super Bowl appearance if he had that in his game. We'll see if it starts. I don't think so, but it gives me hope, and I would like to see it. But once again, Aaron Rodgers plays for longevity, plays for stats, throws the ball away, obviously way more than any other quarterback because he doesn't want to throw the picks, and he doesn't take it off and run with it because he doesn't want to get hit. And I don't blame him for not wanting to get hit. I'm just saying, we see some other quarterbacks, risking their bodies, laying it all on the line. They're winning games, they're winning championships. I'm just putting it out there. We'll see. All right. What else? Let's see who Aaron Rodgers was throwing the ball to. Once again, Davante Adams coming off of a 200-yard game, but Aaron Rodgers didn't throw for 200 yards this game, so it's not going to be a back-to-back 200-yard game for Davante Adams, but he was still the leading receiver here. 4 receptions, 89 yards. Aaron Jones, 4 receptions, 34 yards and a touchdown. Allen Lazard, 3 receptions, 27 yards and a touchdown. Mercedes Lewis back in action as well. We just gave that man a solid grade for his performance last week at the tight end position, but 2 receptions, 17 yards, and then Amari Rodgers, 1 reception, 14 yards as well. So overall, not the best passing game for both of these teams. We're going to talk about Justin Fields in a second, but both defenses coming to play in a classic kind of division rival showdown. Close game, but Aaron Rodgers is the one that gets the last laugh right here. Bears take the lead 17-14. Or no, they cut the lead down to 3. 17-14 with about 10 minutes left in the game, and then Aaron Rodgers shuts the crowd down, silences the crowd, puts up a touchdown, makes a 10-point lead with 5 minutes left in the game, and then by that time the game is over, up 2 possessions. So Aaron Rodgers getting it done in the clutch, putting the nail in the coffin like he's done time and time again. Classic Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay Packer performance this week. Love it. Alrighty, now we get the Bears. What did Justin Fields do? Now, he threw the ball not a lot more, 7 times more than he did last week. So Matt Nagy opening up the offense a little bit more for Justin Fields. That's what we've wanted to see. Unfortunately, didn't result into a win, but he went 16 of 27 out here for 59% completion percentage. Got to look at his throws here a little bit more in depth, probably in our Wednesday film study, keeping tabs on some rookies out here and how Justin Fields played. He threw a pick, really his fault. Real bad decision, just trying to air it out, maybe even try to throw it away. It was a 3rd down, but it ended up a pick in the end zone, and they would have punted it anyway off of an incompletion, but you still get that momentum and energy that the defense gets from getting the pick. A pick and a punt are 2 different things, folks. Yes, they may both result into the same thing, starting from like the 20-yard line, but, you get that momentum, you get that energy. Hey, we picked you off. Our defense is good. We get all that momentum. The offense feeds off of that, so they are still different. So bad interception there by Justin Fields. 16 of 27, like we said, 174 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception came in the first quarter, and once again, the Packers took advantage of that turnover and put up 7 points. Fantastic there by Aaron Rodgers. That's something that we need to see consistently here by the Packers, and what we've been seeing consistently here by this Packers team, making your opponent pay for their turnovers with touchdowns. Once again, that's why Aaron Rodgers lost last year in the NFC Championship game. Not cashing in on Tom Brady's turnovers and not running it in from like the 5, 7, 10-yard line in the red zone. So he's cleaning all that up, maybe, potentially. We'll see as the season progresses. But that interception leads to a tie 7-7 game and a close, not big offensive scoring bout. So that interception right there, real bad by Justin Fields. All right, rushing attack here by the Bears. Khalil Herbert, 19 carries for 97 yards and a touchdown. Fantastic there. Justin Fields, 6 rushes for 43 yards using that dual threat ability. Once again, very well done by Justin Fields. And who was Justin Fields throwing to? We got Allen Robinson, 4 receptions for 53 yards. Cole Kmet, 4 receptions for 49 yards. Shout out to Tight End University. Darnell Mooney, 5 receptions for 45 yards and a touchdown. So I'm loving who he's throwing the ball to right here. This is fantastic. Allen Robinson, Cole Kmet, and Darnell Mooney are your top 3 leading receivers. Justin Fields knows who his weapons are, so that's huge there. Once again, we can we are still buying Justin Fields, and we can continue to buy Justin Fields, even though a little bit of a lackluster offensive performance in total and another loss here. So we're still good on Justin Fields right here. This is not a loss that is going to kind of change our mind on this Bears offense in Justin Fields. This is a game against the Packers. Wasn't even, predicted to win this game. So don't jump ship on this Bears team and Justin Fields just quite yet, folks. He's still getting it done. Just, it's Aaron Rodgers. He gets it done. So Aaron Rodgers beats the Bears once again, like usual, and gets the win 24-14. Alrighty, next game up here is the Chargers at the Ravens, and man, oh man, Ravens just absolutely destroyed the Chargers. Sheesh. And we got another kind of instance of Brandon Staley being aggressive, and this was the first time that it really bit him in the butt. So next week, are we still going to get the big aggressive Brandon Staley, or is this kind of big blowout loss like, hey, I need to tone it in? Oh, this is why coaches don't always go go for it on fourth down. Oh, this is why, because it doesn't always turn good like it's always been turning good so far for Brandon Staley. So this was his first kind of taste of, hey, being aggressive early and often is not the right move, because we get it right here. The Chargers find themselves down 14-0, and Brandon Staley is like, we need to do something quick. We need to do something quick, because he went for it on 4th and 3 from his own 39-yard line. His own 39-yard line, down 14-0. Urgency was right here. Brandon Staley felt the game slipping away from him, but it was only 9 minutes left in the second quarter. I mean, it's a little too early to start kind of thinking the game is over at this point, down 14-0. The offense really couldn't move the ball leading up to this point, so I don't understand what gave him the confidence to go for it on 4th and 3. So he went for it there. Unfortunately, did not get it. It results into 3 points. So that's still, I mean, not bad there to kind of go for it to get some momentum and only give up 3 points in the process. That's not the worst case, but still, I don't know if we do that again. 4th and 3 from your own 39-yard line in the first half, especially down 14-0. Maybe if you're up 21-0, you've got, I mean, yeah, let's keep up the scoring. Let's keep the pedal on the metal. You know what I mean? But and then we get an interception here. But kind of bailed out again, because the Ravens and Lamar Jackson throw an interception right off of the interception, and then they're able to go down and score 6 points, making it 17-6 heading into halftime. But then we get kind of aggressive again. Brandon Staley aggressive here. They're down 24-6 with their first drive out of halftime, and once again Brandon Staley goes for it, 4th and 1 at their own 19-yard line. So once again, being aggressive. There's 5 minutes left here in the third quarter, but once again, their fourth down, not conversion, their turnover on downs, if you will, it resulted in only 3 points for the Ravens. So you went forward in your own territory 2 times and only gave up 6 points. I don't know if Brandon Staley's going to learn his lesson because of that. So we'll see if he's continuing to be aggressive here. The offense was just non-existent here for the Chargers this week. Truly unfortunate. Ravens defense locking down Justin Herbert and company. So let's start here with the Chargers. Justin Herbert goes 22 of 39. Yikes. 56% completion percentage, 195 yards, dink and dunk, and then 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Like we said, the interception gets bailed out with a Lamar Jackson interception. So the offense was just non-existent. The running game was also non-existent as well. Justin Herbert was the leading rusher with 12 yards. Austin Eckler, 6 carries for 7 yards. That's absolutely atrocious. Joshua Kelly, 4 carries for 7 yards as well. So hang on, Joshua Kelly, isn't he a quarterback? He didn't throw the ball. Did they take Herb out the game? No, they didn't. Okay. But either way, non-existent offense here for the Chargers. No rushing game. And we get it. You are down decently big early in this game. Down 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, basically. But man, oh man, you've got to establish your running game at some point. Gosh dang. So offense here for the Chargers, non-existent. Brandon Staley's first kind of punch in the mouth here as a head coach. We'll see how he responds. And he's been getting, favorable in kind of the media spotlight as well. Everybody's saying Brandon Staley is a great head coach, and I'm kind of, I'm falling a little in like with Brandon Staley as well. Everybody, is saying, oh, this is my new favorite head coach and all this. So maybe it's going to his head a little bit, and we'll see if this blowout loss, brings him down to earth a little bit heading into next week. All right, who was Justin Herbert throwing to this game? We had Keenan Allen, 5 receptions, 50 yards. Austin Eckler, 4 receptions, 48 yards. Mike Williams, 2 receptions, 27 yards. Jared Cook, 4 receptions, 25 yards, and he was the only one to score a touchdown. Shout out to Tight End University, baby. So just non-existent offense the entire game here for the Chargers on the road. But there was offense here by the Ravens, folks, 34 points. Lamar Jackson doing his thing right here. And he didn't really have to throw that much like we kind of know this Ravens team is. We know they're very, very in love with the rushing attack right here. But Lamar Jackson goes 19 of 27 passing, 70% completion percentage, fantastic. 167 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and he did throw 2 interceptions. Unfortunate on his part. Let's see where these came. The first interception came off of the Justin Herbert interception, which resulted into 6 points overall for the Chargers, so not great there. And then his second and last interception came in the fourth quarter, and they were at their own 38-yard line. And once again, the game was over at this point in the fourth quarter, about 7 minutes left in the game, and the Chargers not able to do anything with that great field position. Classic Chargers this game. So Lamar Jackson, still turning over the ball a little bit out here, and luckily this was a blowout game, so it didn't kind of come back to haunt him. Rushing attack for the Ravens, Devontae Freeman. Oh, I'm loving that. Devontae Freeman, the leading rusher for the Ravens. Shout out Devontae Freeman, man. Always kind of a tier 2 running back out here, getting passed around the league the last couple of seasons, and has found a decent fit here in Baltimore. So shout out to him. 9 carries, 53 yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson, 8 carries, 51 yards. Latavius Murray, also shout out Latavius Murray as well. I'm loving the running backs here. 9 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. And then Le'Veon Bell getting his first action, folks. 8 carries, 18 yards, and he scored a touchdown. Ooh, we're definitely going to be spotlighting these running backs in our Wednesday film study. We'll watch them all, see what they do well, see which one we like the best, how we should order them, and let's see what Le'Veon Bell was giving us in his first return to action here. So well done with the rushing game with the Ravens, like always. And let's see who Lamar Jackson was throwing to. Mark Andrews, 5 receptions, 68 yards, 1 touchdown, leading receiver here. Once again, tight end university, baby. Got to shout out to tight ends, give them all the credit. Marquise Brown, 4 reception, only 35 yards. Rashad Bateman getting into the mix. Love seeing that as well. The rookie wide receiver here, 4 receptions, 29 yards. Devin Duvernay, 2 receptions, 15 yards. And then Latavius Murray getting into the action in the passing game as well. 2 receptions for 12 yards. So overall, it's seeming like all these pieces are coming together. Rushing, passing, healthy, balanced attack, 34 points, a blowout win, dominant win here, and everybody getting into the action. So Ravens, folks, sheesh. I think we're going to be moving them up a little in our power rankings. The only thing that is a little concerning is Lamar Jackson with the 2 interceptions. Must clean that up. Starting to get a little bit too comfortable with all these turnovers because this Ravens team is so explosive, and they are able to kind of change the game on a dime. If they're down 10, they can instantly get back in the game. We saw that, last week against the Colts. So once again, stop getting comfortable with the interceptions. Once again, the Chiefs are getting comfortable with the turnovers. You cannot get comfortable with the turnovers. They must clean it up here. So we'll start to kind of keep an eye on this Ravens team. It's not affecting them in the win department quite yet, but there are still, concerns to be had. So we are going to, once again, keep an eye on this Ravens turnovers. Must clean it up. But well done for the big win here, 34-6. Alrighty, next game up here is the Vikings at the Panthers, and folks, Sam Darnold, folks, can we just start with him? Can we just start with Sam Darnold? Absolutely atrocious. I will give him one green flag right here, and it was a great green flag. It was absolutely fantastic. But on the final drive, it was a final drive here by this Panthers team before overtime. And Sam Darnold goes on an 11-play, 96-yard drive to tie up the game with a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. So I will give Sam Darnold a lot of credit. He also picked up multiple 4th downs here. 4th and 10 on this potential game-tying drive. He had a 41-yard pass absolutely on the money on 4th and 10. And then on another 4th down right here, 4th and 6, he goes for 25 yards. So picking up 2 4th downs. Absolutely fantastic to tie up the game. Unfortunately, they don't get the ball in overtime and they lose. But let's go back to Sam Darnold. And I know his receivers were not helping him out a little bit, but I mean, this is what we see from Sam Darnold all the time. Poor completion percentage when he doesn't have like all these weapons, to his, disposal. No Christian McCaffrey over these last 3 weeks, and they've lost every single game. Not having, because Sam Sam Darnold didn't need to kind of win him the game. They could just go to Christian McCaffrey in the running game and the passing game. So Sam Darnold was never in charge of truly winning the team the game. Now these last 3 weeks, he has to win them the game himself because they don't. Chuba Hubbard's good, but he's no Christian McCaffrey because there's nobody like Christian McCaffrey. So Sam Darnold has to win the game himself here, and he's not doing it. So he's exactly who we think he is, just nothing great out here. So Sam Darnold goes 17 of 41, folks. 17 of 41. You know how atrocious that is? It's 41%. It's absolutely abysmal. And I understand the receivers were not doing him any favors, but at some point, you've got to start being 100% accurate. Your leadership qualities must come out and start demanding some catches out here, getting the team up, getting the spirits right. And Sam Darnold, have we ever seen any good leadership from Sam Darnold? Have I ever seen a fist pump out of Sam Darnold? Have I ever seen, him kind of coaching up his guys on the sideline? I don't think we've ever seen that, folks. So please spare me with, everybody was just dropping balls by Sam Darnold. Yes, that is the case, but also Sam Darnold, you need to fix that. You're the quarterback. It all falls on you at the end of the day. This is your team. You're at the kind of the most important position here. You must be a leader. You must, go other places with the ball. And if players are struggling, you need to put it on yourself to put the ball exactly 100% catchable with, velocity, spin and all that, having the right spin on the ball, placing it exactly where it needs to be. Your accuracy must be cleaned up 100% if players are dropping passes. Also, if they're dropping passes, then you must go to other places, find other players to get the ball to win the game. If your main guys are dropping the ball, it is up to you. You are the deliverer of the ball. I understand that drops definitely hurt this Panthers team, but we've got to stop making excuses. At some point, you just have to win the game. Lamar Jackson just won the game a couple of weeks ago against the Colts. Marquise Brown a couple weeks ago has been dropping touchdown passes. They've been working together to get that fixed as the season progresses. And, when they were down, it was Lamar Jackson against the Colts last week. Down 16 points, 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. What did he do? He just put his nose to the grindstone, kept going, rushing, delivering the ball to targets that were trustworthy, like Mark Andrews. And Sam Darnold was not doing that this game consistently. So I don't want to hear no excuses on Sam Darnold, folks. Truly, the man is trash. I don't know what you want from me. The man cannot play unless he has an exorbitant amount of talent around him. And at that point, that doesn't make you good at that point. So Sam Darnold, an abysmal game. 17 of 41, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The touchdown, I'll give him there. The lead up to the touchdown, like we said, we'll give him. But let's see where this interception came from. Interception came. When did this interception come? What do we got? Oh, yeah, first play of the game. How could we forget? It was the first pass of the game, folks. The first play of the game here for Sam Darnold and his Panthers team is an interception, and then they get down 3-0. So the defense kept them into it a little bit. The Vikings had their fair share of turnovers as well. Once again, these are two not good teams going against each other right here, and somehow one of them won. I don't know. But we're not buying this Vikings team. Panthers fans, Sam Darnold believers, don't think we're just, shitting on Sam Darnold. No. We're going to be shitting on this Vikings team as well because, once again, they're trash as well. Turnovers and taking to the last moment to win the game and all that. But Sam Darnold, abysmal game. Chuba Hubbard, real solid performance, rushing the ball, 16 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Sam Darnold, y'all love calling this man a dual threat quarterback, so okay, he's the worst passing dual threat quarterback that there is. So you're not going to win here, folks. Sam Darnold's not a good quarterback, and then if you classify him as a dual threat quarterback, then he's the worst dual threat quarterback that there is. So don't try to kind of play the wording game to kind of make Sam Darnold better. The man is still not good, folks. Sam Darnold, 4 rushes for 48 yards. Who was he throwing to? He had DJ Moore, 5 receptions for 73 yards. He was targeted 13 times. Ian Thomas, 1 reception, 41 yards. Brandon Zlystra, 3 receptions, 32 yards. Shee Smith, 2 receptions, 20 yards. Alec Erickson, 1 reception, 17 yards. Robbie Anderson, 3 receptions, 11 yards and a touchdown. He was targeted 11 times. Robbie Anderson, get it together, please. So just nothing great here, consistent by this Panthers team, and they almost still won the game. game because the Vikings are equally as bad overall. Alrighty, let's talk about this Vikings team now. Holy cow, fumbles all over the place. Luckily, they didn't lose most of them because they fumbled like 4 times. But here we go. Kirk Cousins, let's talk about these quarterbacks first. Kirk Cousins goes 33 of 48 here. 68% completion percentage. Once again, folks, it's the anomaly here. It's the enigma that makes no sense. Kirk Cousins, great completion percentage, 373 yards, fantastic there. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, fantastic. Did he fumble? He fumbled, but didn't lose it. Kirk Cousins fumbled, didn't lose it. D.D. Westbrook fumbled, didn't lose it. Dalvin Cook fumbled, didn't lose it. The usual suspects out here. Luckily, they didn't lose these fumbles. Justin Jefferson did fumble. That's the unusual suspect. He fumbled and lost it here, and that resulted into 7 points for the Panthers to kind of get them back in the game a little bit. It was still in the first quarter here when they were down 3-0, but that allowed them to get 7-3 and little momentum, little confidence here. Yeah, I mean, we know Kirk Cousins fumbles and intercepts the ball, at the worst timing. Same thing with Dalvin Cook. That's why, they have lackluster records overall because they turn the ball over at the worst time. Alrighty. All right, what else do we got here? Rushing attack, Dalvin Cook, 29 carries for 140 yards and a touchdown. Once again, we know he's good, but he just fumbles. Once again, the enigma of Kirk Cousins. You got to get them off the team, folks. There's just something about them playing together that they bring out the worst of each other at the worst time here. But we'll give Dalvin Cook great credit for this. 29 carries, 140 yards and a touchdown. C.J. Ham, 1 carry for 30 yards. Kirk Cousins rushes 2 times for 16 yards. And then Alexander Mattison, who has been filling in when Dalvin Cook hasn't been able to go. He only gets 3 carries for 10 yards. And then who was Kirk Cousins throwing the ball to? We got Adam Thielen, 11 receptions for 126 yards and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 8 receptions for 80 yards. So once again, going to his 2 main weapons. We know that's what Kirk Cousins does. That's not what we have our problems with this Vikings team. And then KJ Osborne, 6 receptions, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. Tyler Conklin, 3 receptions, 71 yards. And then D.D. Westbrook, 2 receptions, 13 yards. But Kirk Cousins and company getting it done in overtime. Tie game in overtime. Obviously, they win the toss and they go down on a 9-play, 75-yard touchdown drive to seal the game. Don't even give the Panthers the ability to win the game. And once again, last week's emotions. Vikings versus the Lions. Dan Campbell cries at the podium. His team flounders. Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer, pumping each other up on the sideline. How y'all fucking like that? Exciting each other, shoving each other, getting pumped, and it comes back to win them this game when it's in overtime, when they have to go get it done. They go get it done, and that's what this Vikings team is. They win and lose close. They always put up the numbers. Most of the time they lose, and this Vikings team is the same team that we know they are. The enigma, the only enigma of the NFL, folks. But the Vikings get the win 34-28. Sam Darnold still flounders. Alrighty, next game up here is the Cardinals and the Browns, and this was our best bet of the week. Cardinals +3. They have no problem handling this team. They don't need their head coach. Once again, this Cardinals team has won a new way every single week. Everybody's talking about the scoregami this week of which game was it? The Giants-Rams game. No score has ever ended in 38-11. I guess that's scoregami. I mean, if you were over social media, it was all over the place. So scoregami, folks. What was I just trying to point that to? Cardinals winning a new way every single week, so now they can win without their head coach, folks. So just this Cardinals team is exactly who we thought they were. Vegas is disrespecting them. They're still our number 1 team in the power rankings. They're winning without their head coach. They won without some of their linemen as well. They are finding ways to win. And looking real gosh dang good, putting up 37 points in the process. So this Cardinals team, it's a pity if you don't have them at number 1. This is the best team in the league, hands down, obviously. Kyler Murray did his thing, 20 of 30. 20 of 30, what do we got completion percentage-wise? 66%, 229 yards, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. Look at this. He did fumble 4 times, but didn't lose any of them, so very well done to Kyler Murray there, geez Louise. But yeah, turnover-free game for the Cardinals, folks, 37 points, getting after it. The rushing attack by the Cardinals is sneaky good as well. Running back by committee is very, very, very good. James Conner, 16 carries for 71 yards. Chase Edmonds, 4 carries for 46 yards. Getting it done. All right, who was Kyler Murray throwing to? A.J. Green, 5 receptions, 79 yards and a touchdown. Christian Kirk, 5 receptions, 75 yards and a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins, 3 receptions, 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rondale Moore, only 3 receptions for 16 yards, but didn't even need them. Man, oh man, these receivers here by the Cardinals, A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, obviously DeAndre Hopkins, all getting it done on a consistent basis. Even the Browns defense couldn't even stop them, and you knew where they were going to be going with the ball. So great job by this Cardinals team from start to finish. I mean, look at this. I mean, scoring on their first 4 drives, 5 drives, every single drive that they had in the first half, they scored the ball. They came out firing 2 touchdowns on the first 2 drives. Browns trying to get a little bit cute out here, going for it on 4th and 3, not taking points when they were down 7-3. A little eager right there. So once again, Kevin Stefanski is getting a little out-coached right here a little bit. He's kind of maybe seeing what Joe Staley's doing with the Chargers. Brandon Staley's doing with the Chargers of being so aggressive right here. I mean, given the entire circumstances heading into this game of, all the, potential outs and how big of a game this was, and then once you get into the red zone down 7-0, you go for it and don't take 3 points to make it a 7-3 game. I mean, you got to get some confidence here. You got to start building some points right here. You're not going to be scoring 7 points out of every single drive. We see this by the Cardinals. They score 3 straight field goals right here, and that didn't phase them. That didn't shake them. They still stuck to it. So a little unfortunate. Kevin Stefanski last week with some play calling, in the fourth quarter when it was getting crazy in the fourth quarter with all the scoring, and then here to open up this game. So we've been kind of complimenting, gushing over Kevin Stefanski all last season, all off season, all the first kind of 4 or 5 weeks here of this season. But these last 2 weeks, man, some of the coaching decisions are not truly reflective of what has made this Browns team so good last season. So I think Kevin Stefanski is getting away from what this Browns team is all about, which is the collective, not relying on Baker Mayfield or the running game too much to win you the game. A full complement passing and offense with a healthy mix of the defense getting it done as well. So little starting to fall off of this Browns team as a whole. And once again, we're not going to be judging Baker Mayfield too harshly in this game, because it was against the Cardinals. So we're still going to kind of see what he can do next week to truly get a good gauge. We're not going to be falling off of him because of this bad performance. Once again, yeah, they didn't win this game, but they were down 20-0. And what did Baker Mayfield do? 2 touchdown drives to end the first half to go into halftime down 23-14. And then he starts to fumble because we know Baker Mayfield. Let's start talking about these stats because Baker Mayfield had 3 big turnovers right here. And once again, the fumbling is the biggest thing by Baker Mayfield. The unclutchability fumbling by Baker Mayfield, which we've known about his entire career, is once again showing up this season. And that's giving us pause on Baker Mayfield. But let's talk about Baker Mayfield now. 19 of 28, 67% completion percentage, 234 yards. All that is good. 2 touchdowns. All that is good. But the 1 interception and 2 fumbles. First fumble came in the second quarter, and the Cardinals only cash in 3 points. He throws an interception on the following drive. They cash in 3 points, so 6 points off of turnover so far. And then the fumble in the third quarter really just ices the game, making it 30-14 because the Cardinals score a touchdown off of it. So 13 points off of turnovers here. You take off 13 points for the Cardinals, and we've got 24-14, a competitive game in the fourth quarter. Maybe Baker Mayfield wins it. So just the turnovers, got to clean them up by Baker Mayfield. Once again, maybe trying to do a little bit too much. Kevin Stefanski relying on Baker Mayfield a little bit too much out here. We understand there was no Nick Chubb, and it was all just Kareem Hunt, so a little lackluster in the running game. But man, oh man, geez. And it was against this Cardinals defense, the best team in the league overall, very solid defense as well. We're not going to be fading Baker Mayfield as much as the media is. I already saw Shannon Sharp give Baker Mayfield an F- or an F grade, which I don't necessarily not agree with, but this is against the Cardinals, so I'm not going to judge the performance too harshly. Yes, it wasn't a great performance by Baker Mayfield. He stuck in the game here, but then that third quarter fumble really ruined the game. Alrighty, what else we got here? Rushing the ball, Kareem Hunt, only rusher out there, 14 carries for 66 yards. Who was Baker Mayfield throwing to? Donovan Peoples-Jones, leading receiver, 4 receptions, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. OBJ, 5 receptions, 79 yards, and then Demetric Felton, 2 receptions, 14 yards. So we see the big drop-off there. So overall, the Browns lose this game, kind of a blowout fashion, 37-14. And Baker Mayfield is going to have to hear it in the media all week long. Alrighty, last 3 games. Let's go over a little bit quickly here. Raiders at the Broncos. And look at this Raiders team, folks. Jeez Louise. And really disappointed with this Broncos team and Teddy Bridgewater overall. This was a winnable game. First game without their head coach of John Gruden getting fired. And you don't take advantage, Teddy Bridgewater, at home. Come on. Really disappointed there. But, so disappointed on the Broncos side. But, this is what we're talking about with the Raiders. This is what we know the offense can be, folks. They put up 34 points their first game without John Gruden. We've known John Gruden has been holding this team back. We've said it heading this entire season. They were trash these last 2 seasons, folks, because they were falling off at the end of at the back half of the season, and that really has to do with coaching, folks. When you lose sight, when you lose focus, when you lose kind of accountability and leadership, you're going to get worse as the season progresses right here and not get better. So we've seen this Raiders team be good in the first half the last 3 seasons with John Gruden, and then fall in the back half. And they were kind of following that same kind of path this season, but they get rid of them. And I've got the numbers and facts to back it up, folks. So here we go. Raiders put up 34 points this game. How many games did they put up 34 or more points with John Gruden, folks? You want to know the answer? Because it's so low, folks. So here we go. This season alone, let's just talk about this season alone, folks. This was the most points they've put up in a game. The first game without John Gruden. Correlation or causation, folks. I'm talking causation, folks. So we know John Gruden was holding this team back. Obviously, getting rid of him was the best decision this Raiders team has made. They put up 33 points week 1, and you may be saying, well, that's only 1 more point. But it took them in overtime to get that many points. And then week 3, they put up 31 points. You may be saying to yourself, oh, well, once again, that's only 3 points less than what they scored this week. But once again, it took overtime to get that. When they're only in regulation, they're putting up 26 points, 14 points, 9 points with John Gruden this season. Most points this season. So far, this season, John Gruden has not put up 34 or more points. Last season, how many times did they put up 34 or more points? The first 2 weeks of the season, they put up 34 points exactly. So that's 2. Then they put up 40 week 5. That's 3. Then they put up 37 week 10. And then nothing else compared to 34 for the rest of the season. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 34-point performances or more, and that was just in 2020 alone. And he's been the coach for 3 seasons. This was his 4th season. Then we go to 2019. How many times did he put up 34 or more points? 0. The highest points he put up in 2019 was 31 points offensively. 31 points, and he did that twice. Then we go back to 2018. This was his first season with the Raiders. How many times did he put up 34 or more points? Well, he put up 45 points once again in overtime in week 4, once again early on in the season, and never more than that. So 5 times in John Gruden's tenure, he put up 34 or more points. 2 times were exactly 34. So actually only 3 times where a John Gruden-led head coach offense did better than I'm not going to remember the name here of the new Basia, something like that. I apologize for not remembering the head coach's for the Raiders' name. But John Gruden's only done a better offensive performance 3 times, and this guy did it on the road here, folks. So shout out to something Basia. I'm blanking on the name, and I truly apologize. But shout out to this Raiders head coach. Shout out to this Raiders offense. They are moving on without John Gruden and getting it done. So Raiders win. They score consistently throughout the game. 10 points first quarter, 7 points second quarter, 14 points third quarter, 3 points fourth quarter to really kind of ice the game when Teddy Bridgewater was trying to come back, like we've seen that. So, and we say all the time, coming back in the fourth quarter is not impressive to us, and we've seen that by Teddy Bridgewater over the last 2 weeks. So Teddy Bridgewater here over the last 3 weeks, 0-3, and kind of we're starting to lose faith in him a little bit, which is truly unfortunate. All right, back to this Raiders side of the football. Derek Carr goes 18 of 27, 66% completion percentage, 341 yards. Fantastic. 2 touchdowns, no picks. Anybody fumble here? Derek Carr fumbled but didn't lose it, so a turnover-free game here by the Raiders. You love to see it. Josh Jacobs back in the backfield, 16 carries, 53 yards and a touchdown. Kenyon Drake, 4 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown as well. So running back by committee getting it done. Who was Derek Carr throwing the ball to? Henry Ruggs, leading a receiver, 3 receptions, 97 yards and a touchdown. Brian Edwards, 2 receptions, 67 yards. Darren Waller, 5 targets, 5 catches, baby, 59 yards. So the new head coach is making sure Darren Waller is a priority. We love it. Kenyon Drake, 2 receptions, 39 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Renfrow, 3 receptions, 36 yards. Josh Jacobs, 1 catch for 29 yards. So overall, the offense is moving. And just look at how they got out to scoring, folks. Touchdown, field goal, and then a missed field goal. So a potential of 13-7 after the first quarter. So consistent offense decently throughout. Had a little bit of a hiccup in the second quarter, but got it right back after halftime. So very well done by this Raiders team. And now this is a true playoff contending team, deep playoff contending team without John Gruden at the helm. Alrighty, and then the Denver Broncos. Teddy Bridgewater goes 35 of 49. 35 of 49. What do we got? 71% completion percentage. That looks real good. 334 yards. That's real good. 3 touchdowns. That's real good. But then we get 3 interceptions. Oh, my God. Teddy B, what are we doing? First interception comes in the first quarter and results into a missed field goal. Unfortunate there, but that would have been 3 points. Second interception came in the fourth quarter when they were down 34-17. Luckily for the Broncos, no points scored after the turnover. And then the other interception came the very last drive for the Broncos when they were down 10, game over at that point. So luckily for Teddy Bridgewater, these turnovers weren't too impactful. You do still kind of not, you don't score when you turn over the ball, obviously. So that's where Teddy Bridgewater floundered. And then who fumbled? Who fumbled the ball? Was it Teddy Bridgewater fumbling as well? It was. So his fumble led it to a touchdown. So 7 points officially off of 4 Teddy Bridgewater turnovers. Jeez Louise. But man, oh man, got to clean it up, Teddy B, and got to just start to score. I mean, they didn't score in the second quarter. They put up 3 points. I mean, they had 10 points heading into the fourth quarter, folks. That's not going to get it done. So Teddy Bridgewater at home, not putting up the points. Now we're at cause for concern. All right, running game here for the Broncos. Javonte Williams, 11 carries, 53 yards. Melvin Gordon, 10 carries, 50 yards. So great running back by committee there. Who is Teddy Bridgewater throwing the ball to? We get Noah Fant, leading receiver. Shout out to Tight End University. 9 receptions, 97 yards and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, 8 receptions, 94 yards and a touchdown. Tim Patrick, 3 receptions, 42 yards and a touchdown. Kendall Hinton, 5 receptions, 37 yards. Melvin Gordon, 3 receptions, 23 yards. Eric Subert, 3 receptions, 23 yards. Javonte Williams, 3 receptions for 15 yards. So spreading the ball around good, but not putting up the points. And that's exactly what Teddy Bridgewater was last year, folks, with the Panthers. Getting all those receivers 1,000+ yards, receiving yards for the season, but not resulting in the wins. And now we're getting it here by the Broncos. Little dink and dunk, a little safe, not airing it out, not taking your chances, not putting up the points. Classic Teddy Bridgewater. How truly unfortunate. So the Raiders get the win 34-24. Then we get the Cowboys and the Patriots. And yeah, this Cowboys team, folks, a little struggling in the red zone, which we really haven't seen. And hopefully this is a one-time fluke against the Patriots. And we know some of the reffing calls weren't the greatest in this game. But the Cowboys still pull it off. After all those struggles, they still find a way to put up 35 points and to win the game in overtime. And they were able to kind of, get the ball in overtime because the Patriots got the ball first. Defense steps up big time, and Dak and the boys go down to score a touchdown to close out and win the game. So And another great thing by this Cowboys team, folks, real early on, I mean, they get out to scoring big time. I mean, how many times have we seen them, score a touchdown on their first drive or two? They also have turnover on downs, though, on their first drive or two as well. But that's just, aggressive, going for it, 4th and 1 at their own 34-yard line. I've got no problem with that, especially, with the, great running game that you have. And then just trusting your defense, forcing all those turnovers like we know they do, a la Trayvon Diggs. Doing his thing out here, getting it done. Fantastic. Best corner in the league. We've been saying this for 5 weeks, folks. So, Cowboys get the win 35-29. Dak Prescott goes 36 of 51. Let's see what that completion percentage is. 36 of 51 for 70% completion percentage for 445 yards, 3 touchdowns. The one interception was truly his fault. Bad interception by him. But overall, they shake it off. His interception leads to a Patriots fumble as well. So kind of bailed out in that regard. So Dak is still absolutely fantastic. That's why you pay the man. Zeke, 17 carries for 69 yards. Tony Pollard, 10 carries for 41 yards. So once again, running back by committee, always there, getting it done. CeeDee Lamb was who Dak Prescott was throwing to, leading receiver for the Cowboys, 9 receptions, 149 yards, and 2 touchdowns. A touchdown to tie up the game here, or to win the game in overtime. Absolutely fantastic walk-off touchdown, wide open CeeDee Lamb, and then he waves in the face because the defender did kind of push him a little late after he scored the touchdown. CeeDee Lamb didn't let that get to him. He just waved in his face, say like, all right, y'all can push me down, but I got the win, and we're coming out of here with the win in Foxborough. So goodbye. Big smile on his face. Shout out to CeeDee Lamb. Alrighty, Dalton Schultz, and once again, we've been talking about his emergence here. Dak's finding him. They're scheming him open here. The great tight end here. Dalton Schultz, second leading receiver, 5 receptions, 79 yards. Amari Cooper, 5 receptions, 50 yards. Zeke, 7 receptions, 50 yards. Noah Brown, 2 receptions, 47 yards. Ced Wilson, 4 receptions, 42 yards. Tony Pollard, 3 receptions, 22 yards. So all those big yards by Dak Prescott, staying to it. And this game was only close because of some turnovers, or not getting it done in the red zone. Turnover there by Dak Prescott. He also fumbled the ball as well, which resulted into no points there for the Cowboys because it was on the goal line, and then there was no time for the Patriots to do anything before halftime. So just not getting it done in the red zone, unfortunately, which we haven't seen, but we're not kind of worried about that. We can kind of chalk that up to on the road, 1-game fluke against the Bill Belichick's defense. So, and then also just, we've seen them kind of, get into the end zone, and then they didn't call it, and then we get the fumble, so all that. But they overcame all those odds, all those circumstances, and still win the game. Big credit to this Cowboys team already. And then defensively, we know Trayvon Diggs with the interception. We get Randy Gregory with the 2 sacks and a tackle for loss. So once again, the defense just getting it done in every facet of the game. Ball Hawks, ball Hawks, ball Hawks. I tweet it out every single week, folks. It's crazy. That's how great this Cowboys defense is. Give them some credit. Alrighty, and then Mac Jones on the other side of the football. He only goes 15 of 21. Great game manager football. 71% completion percentage, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The touchdown to retake the lead in the fourth quarter. That was just kind of a bad defensive play by Trayvon Diggs. He did take accountability for that. But, once again, they overcame everything. This is a good game to win here for the Cowboys. Don't let them put, this was a bad look for the Cowboys or anything like that. No, it wasn't. I mean, they were really dominant and controlled this entire game, folks, if you were watching it. Just the final score makes it a little close. So, games are usually close. Games aren't usually blowouts like we see, the Lions getting blown out every single week. So, good win here for this Cowboys team. Mac Jones, real solid performance right here. His interception, very, very costly right here. Interception, went for a pick 6, and then he responds with the big, touchdown, picking on, or not even picking on Trayvon Diggs. It's just Trayvon Diggs played the ball wrong. So bad throw by Mac Jones for the pick 6, and then comes back with a touchdown to kind of erase it. But overall, not the greatest by Mac Jones there. Alrighty, who was rushing the ball? Damian Harris, very well done by the Patriots. 18 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown. Ramondre Stevenson, 5 receptions for 23 yards. He scored as well. Hopefully we get to see more Ramondre Stevenson coming back off of the fumble from week 1, finally getting back into the game a little bit out here. So solid performance by the running attack. And then who was Mac Jones throwing to? We got Kendrick Bourne, leading receiver, 1 catch for 75 yards and a touchdown. That's the one that went big after the pick six. Jacoby Myers, 5 receptions, 44 yards. Ramondre Stevenson in the passing game, 3 receptions, 39 yards. Nelson Aguilar, 1 catch, 27 yards. And Hunter Henry, the tight end, 2 receptions, 25 yards and a touchdown. And he opened up the scoring. It was Damian Harris. My apologies. Hunter Henry put up the second touchdown and go up 14-7. So a good overall game by Mac Jones. He's coming together, slowly but surely being the game manager. And Dak and the boys still going to be the number 2 team in our power rankings. Maybe number 1. Do we switch him with the Cardinals? You got to come in, tune in for tomorrow's show. But Cowboys get the 35-29 win. And then the last game, last night, Seahawks, Steelers. And man, oh man, I was hoping and I was thinking that this Steelers offense was going to get it done. But they barely win the game. It took into overtime. And once again, they're just not putting up the points. Yards are there decently. Obviously need more yards here. This is not kind of what we're talking about when we said the yards were there with the Steelers heading into this game. But man, oh man, they've got to put up the points. And now I'm concerned about the Steelers kind of team and offense overall in general. The Seahawks defense isn't anything great. I mean, I'm sure y'all have seen the clip by now of, Jamal Adams getting hit in the head with the ball and not picking it off because the man is not a safety. He's a linebacker, unfortunately. I'm kind of agreeing with that narrative now. How unfortunate. But yeah, cause for concern with the Steelers offense now. Truly unfortunate. Let's start with them. Big Ben goes 29 of 40 for 229 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick, dink and dunk game, 29 of 40. What do we got? 72% completion percentage, which seems good, but it's not. 229 yards, which seems good, but it's not. 1 touchdown, no pick, which seems good, but it's not. Najee Harris, 24 carries for 81 yards. Solid rushing there, nothing explosive, nothing big. Who was Big Ben throwing to? We got Deontay Johnson, 9 receptions, 71 yards. Pat Freiermuth, their tight end rookie. Shout out to Tight End University. 7 receptions, 58 yards. Najee Harris, 6 receptions, 46 yards and a touchdown. I mean, I know no Juju Smith-Schuster, but gosh dang, you can't get James Washington more involved, Chase Claypool more involved. God dang, tight end, running back, your number 2 and 3 leading receivers out there. Ray McLeod, 2 receptions, 18 yards. Chase Claypool, 2 receptions, 17 yards. Eric Ebron, 2 receptions, 10 yards. And James Washington, 1 catch for 9 yards. He only had 1 target as well. Also, the Steelers, not putting up any points in the first quarter. Then they come back and 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, but just, sporadic scoring, not consistent, going into overtime, settling for field goals, all of that. So, yeah, I'm starting to get concerned with the Steelers offense. I don't even know what it is. I think it's the scheme-wise. Maybe it's Big Ben not taking the shots, but damn, and then he fumbled as well, not, trying to bring the ball back to his body, just letting it fumble out of his hands. That resulted into any points here for the Seahawks. Did they score off that? No, they went 3-0, so bail out there with the fumble there by Big Ben. All right, and then the Seahawks, Geno Smith did his thing, kept the game close, went into overtime, unfortunately had that game-losing fumble in overtime. How truly unfortunate. And, last week we had the game-losing interception that wasn't his fault. The receiver fell down, but now it was his fault of him fumbling and turning over the ball. So it's just unfortunate. It's hard to win. It's hard to play an entire complete game of football. It's hard to do that, and we're seeing that with Geno Smith, but still some credit there. Unfortunately, just could not come away with the win. He goes 23 of 32, real solid, 71% completion percentage, 209 yards, a little ding and dunk, 1 touchdown, no pick, but like we said, he had that fumble. Rushing attack, Alex Collins, shout out to him, filling in for Chris Carson. He's also out, so he goes 20 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown. Geno Smith without Russell Wilson, Alex Collins without Chris Carson's both getting it done. So, man, oh man, Seahawks offense, why is it struggling with Russell Wilson and Chris Carson, but it's thriving with Geno Smith and Alex Collins? We don't get it. Alrighty, who was Geno Smith going to? Well, DK Metcalf, leading receiver here, 6 receptions, 58 yards. He fumbled as well, almost cost him the game here, trying to get all those extra yards instead of getting out of bounds, but luckily they were able to clock it with 1 second and get back on the ball. So DK Metcalf, 6 receptions, 58 yards. Gerald Everett, 2 receptions, 40 yards. Tyler Lockett, 2 receptions, 35 yards. And that's the main difference between a Geno Smith at the helm and Russell Wilson, because Tyler Lockett only having 2 catches for 35 yards. It's really bizarre. Usually he's catching touchdowns, big plays here and there with Russell Wilson, and Geno Smith keeping him under wraps a little bit. Then we had DJ Dallas, 5 receptions, 33 yards, and Travis Homer, 1 reception, 27 yards. Penny Hart, 1 reception, 12 yards. So overall, Seahawks lose close. Steelers should have blown out this team. They didn't. And the Steelers team is still not great. It's not where it needs to be offensively, and we will be concerned about this offense. I was a little wrong about this. I thought we were going to see a big offense explosion here by Pittsburgh, and we kind of got the opposite. Lackluster in the second half. Yeah, they scored 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, but then it was field goal for the rest of the game and in overtime. So can't do it against the Seahawks defense at home. Primetime football without their leader and captain, Russell Wilson. I don't know when y'all will ever do it. So Steelers get the win. Not pretty. 3-3 record heading into next week. We will not be buying the Steelers heading into next week. Alrighty, those were all the games from last night, yesterday, folks, all day long. London game, 9:30, 1-4-8. We got a game tonight, and we are still rocking with the Titans, folks. I think the line is still at 5.5. I don't think it has changed. We can quickly update it. But we will still be taking the Titans, and now it's at +6, so even better value. Yes, sir, Titans +6. We're still sticking with it. The machines don't agree with us. We may have to turn over the show to the machines tomorrow, because that'd be machines 2, takes by fans 0. So the deal that we have made, I did sell my soul to the machines, so I would have to give up the show. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Titans win, Bills lose, they cover the 6. All of that happens. Hopefully. So still rocking with the Titans +6, going against the Bills. The machines are in love with the Bills, folks. We're just not yet. Alrighty, we're back tomorrow doing our Tuesday things, shouting out the tight ends, breaking out into the Monday Night Football game, and rearranging our power rankings. Alrighty, folks, we're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We'll see you back here tomorrow live, noon Eastern.